People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down, when you're strange. Faces come out in the rain.
DJ Crowley here, Simmer Down live from home, and we got an old friend in the house, Kyle Rising, Sensi Trails, the passion, the one. We're in his spaceship. What's going on?
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It's really good to see you again. The last time, we have so many stories, but the last time I saw you, I think was at Winston's in OB, and it was you guys and the elevators, and then the whole world shut down.
Yeah. I remember that night very well. Because someone had mentioned, that was like our year where we got booked on Cali Roots, which was like, a huge deal for us. And then I remember somebody at that show was like, they're canceling Cali Roots or they're rescheduling it or whatever. And I just felt so heartbroken at that night. And then everything shut down like a week later. But yeah, man, that was, what was that, 2020? It must have been then February of that year.
Yeah, like I think that was like it was like March. I was like right when it happened. We were in Santa Cruz a couple nights before, and we ran into Sheehan. Speaking of Cali Roots, and I had to sit down, just me and him, just randomly. And I was like, "What do you think?" He's like, "I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen." But hey, we got through it. We're moving forward. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, there's some things we definitely have to talk about. Everybody wants to know. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. If you're just tuning in, you're late. This is Simmer Down. We got Kyle Rising of Sensi Trails in the house, man. I want to go way back. I remember, here's another story. I remember me and the elevators stayed at your place in OBX a couple times, I'm sure. But I remember one specific moment. It was very late night after I think a show we did, and you got the guitar out and you started just kind of singing around all of us. And Jackson Weatherby looked at me and goes, wow, this guy's voice. And there was something like special about that moment. And I've always known you've been a superstar, man. But that moment when I heard that voice, I was like, wow, this kid's just so good. And he's so passionate and he's so positive. I want to know what like got you into music, because we haven't done an interview before. Like, what was that thing? Like, what was it?
Yeah, so I always tell this story of my third grade teacher would write songs and print out the lyric sheets based on whatever lessons we were supposed to be learning during that time, and say it'd be math or history or whatever. And she'd play her guitar and we would all sing along the lyrics as a class. And her theory was, if you hear a song enough, say it's on the radio, even if you don't particularly like that song, if you hear it enough, you'll retain that information. So that's what we did. We're singing along these songs, and then you're taking the test like a week later or something, and you sing this song in your head again, and you know all the answers now. And I saw the power in that. And I was like, I want to do that. And so I told my parents, hey, look, I want to get a guitar, and all that. And they were like, okay, we'll get you one, but you have to play it. So if I didn't play it, like they would take it back from me. And so, I was like, okay, I got to stick with this. I got to, and so and then I got into songwriting and things like that. And my grandparents, my grandfather in particular, he was like a hippie that grew up in Europe in the late 60s and 70s. And so he was at the Isle of Wight Festival, which was a festival, I think it was in 1970 off the coast of UK. And he was always telling me these stories about seeing Jimi Hendrix and, the Doors and all these great bands. And I was so intrigued by it. And then I think in like early 2000s, they came out with a DVD of Jimi Hendrix's performance live at the Isle of Wight. And I saw that. And I remember picking up the DVD case and seeing this guy, with these crazy clothes and all that. And I'm like, what is this? I was mesmerized. And so I would watch this video, his performance of Jimi Hendrix live. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but I want that, you know. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I've been kind of chasing that down ever since, I guess. So but yeah, that's pretty much how I got into music, like a combination of those things.
Yeah, man. And you've said it before, like I think you said it in interviews before. It's like, what's your sound? Well, our sound and my sound is constantly evolving. Like I heard this Jam in the Van thing the other day, which was really sick. And I've seen you guys live. I mean, talk about getting down and jammy. I mean, you guys go, psychedelic rock, reggae, of course, funk, hip hop. Tell us about the idea of your sound just personally.
Well, for me, I enjoy so many different styles of music. So it's hard to, I guess, put myself in a box musically, because I get bored quickly as well. So I'm always exploring new sounds and ideas and emotions and things like that. And I kind of feel that that's what the whole purpose of this art form is to express whatever you're feeling in that particular moment, and it's something that it's for the artist, really. I mean, it's for the listeners as well, but it's really an expression of how I'm feeling in that moment. So that's why I'm always changing and evolving, and so is the sound.
Absolutely. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, you're late. We're Simmer Down live from home. We got our buddy Kyle Rising, Sensi Trails in the house. We do have a lot to talk about, man, but I still want to go back to the past just a little bit before we get into some stuff because some people may not know that when you were on the shores of North Carolina, uh, your band decided to go a different direction, just like it has now. And you are a rare breed, man. You said, okay, that sounds great. Cause this business is tough. Like it is, it's not easy. And you packed your bags and you drove to California, to San Diego. Tell me about that drive.
Well, I did it alone, and I had a lot of time to think, and it was like really a spiritual journey. Just starting a new chapter. I feel like life is made up of different chapters and different like levels, or I guess there's different ways to word that. But yeah, I mean, it was like the start of a new chapter, something fresh and something so exciting. And I always had this feeling that I needed to end up in Southern California because I mean, really, I feel that the entertainment industry is, it's based here pretty much. It's either like New York City, Los Angeles, Southern California area, or maybe Nashville for music. And I needed to be in one of those three places, and I love the sunshine, palm trees, and ocean. So I figured I'd make the journey over here, and yeah, never really look back, and it's been great.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, when we saw you in San Diego to just see you thriving, man. I remember I think I told you I was like, man, I'm so proud of you. You never give up. You're a very rare breed. And unfortunately now we've come to another bump in the road, I guess you could say, in the musical world. Uh but you always move through. I want to kind of get into this real quick. Obviously, Kaya got injured and then stuff just kind of starts tumbling. Tell us about what's going on right now and what everybody needs to know about Sensi Trails.
Yeah, so it's like you said, I mean, this business is really tough. It's really, really tough, and there's not a lot of money involved, especially in the early stages of it. So it's hard. It's hard to make it, and basically, I mean, it's people just want different things in life. It's a tough thing to navigate through. Um, I mean, and then of course, like you said, Kyle got in this tragic accident, and that changed a lot of things. Things just were different after that. Everything was different, and a couple of the other guys decided they wanted to do different things as well. And here we are. It's like I said before, it's another chapter. That's really what it is, and yeah, it's pretty much what it is. Just new beginnings, sort of.
Yeah, it's the next chapter and we wish all the boys so much love. uh,
Absolutely.
going forward. We love all of them. They're such wonderful people. I'm so glad that Kaya is okay. I mean, when I
Yeah.
heard about that, it was just like, whoa, dude.
Heartbreaking, man. Absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, for such a young, charismatic guy like that everybody loves, myself included. I absolutely adore every one of those guys. I mean, we had so much fun together over the years and so many memories that I'll never forget, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking, man. It really is. And I wish all those guys the absolute best and in their future endeavors and whatever they decide to do next. And I hope we can connect somewhere down the road, you know.
Yeah. It's family first, man.
Absolutely.
This is a family. No matter what happens in this business, we are always a family. I mean, I've seen so many things happen. I mean, I remember way back in the day, Kyrie was, I think, like 2 years into touring, maybe a year and a half into touring, 2014, 15, and her keyboardist left a note on their van in the middle of Ohio in the middle of a tour that said, "I'm out."
Wow.
You
That's
know,
heart-shattering.
I mean, it happens, and it
Yeah, man.
happens in all these different ways. So we wish all of them the best. And again, Kaya, so glad that he's recovering. And please, everybody, send your love out to them because they're wonderful people.
You know, I think some people outside of the industry don't realize how taxing this is mentally for people. You know, like for the guy that you're talking about to just get up and leave a note, for example, like that, you could tell there must have been something going on where he just decided to all of a sudden get up and leave. I mean, there's so like touring and stuff like that is not an easy thing to do. You know, I think maybe a lot of people believe that it's all just fun and games and partying and all that, but I mean, it's taxing on your body and your mind and everything. So, this is no easy job. Like this is not for the faint of heart or whatever. It's a tough business to be in, but yeah, man, it is fun though.
I absolutely that's cool how you said that. Like, but it is fun. I mean, that's what we do, man. I mean, I've been at points on the road where I'm like, I'm done. Nope,
Yeah,
nope,
dude.
nope, nope,
Yes.
nope, nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope. And then the next day it's like, you get off the bus or the van or whatever it is, and you go see your tour package homies and your family, and then all the family comes out and you get on stage and you're like, this rules. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
next chapter, let's talk about it. Kyle Rising, Sensi Trails. I know you have some shows coming up. Tell everybody really wants to know. Number one, what's going on with Sensi Trails? Are you actively looking for a new band? Do you have somebody already? People in the mix, and also your solo project. We'll talk about the Sensi Trails first, and then your solo project after that.
Yeah, so for Sensi Trails, I've been performing with a couple different players recently. I mean, all of this with the band has been very recent. So I've been sort of auditioning new players. I do have a bassist locked in right now, my good buddy Matt James. He's super rad. I don't know if you've heard about him, but
I have, yeah.
yeah, man, that kid is awesome. So he's been out here staying with me for um, I don't know, the past couple weeks or so, and we've been having a great time together. And then just been kind of exploring some options around the local area and the local music scene here. And everybody's like super supportive, man. All these new players that are coming in are excited and just stoked to be a part of this. And that's been really fun and I guess sort of refreshing in a way. It's like every time you bring in new people, it's like this sort of fresh feeling again, and it's fun. So yeah, but I mean, I'm just kind of seeing what happens, how it goes, and it's definitely going to still continue to play shows under Sensi Trails. Like I know we have the Reggae Rise Up in Las Vegas coming up in October, so that's going to be a pretty big one. And dude, that lineup is insane. By the way, I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah. Is that the one with Action Bronson on it?
Yeah, yeah, man.
Ah,
Yeah,
dude.
and Lettuce.
And
I'm a
Lettuce is on it. Yeah,
yeah.
man. Big up to live night. Is it live night events? I believe that's
Yeah, I
yeah,
believe
yeah.
so. Yeah, those,
Yeah.
and and speaking about them, they're such great people. Like the guys
Mhm.
that put on like Get Rise Up are so kind. But yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And we've got this run of shows coming up this week. We're doing a show with Fortunate Youth on 420, and then a few others. And then yeah, and then I'm also working on my solo project too. I'm doing like more rock and roll stuff under my own name, Kyle Rising, and really, really excited for that. I'm going to be putting together a really awesome campaign here soon to like sort of raise funds for the next album, but also give incentives for people who make contributions like signed vinyl records and new exclusive merchandise. And people can book me to come to their place or whatever, and I'll play for them, all these fun things that I've been working on with my team, and I'm really excited for what the future holds.
There's always a future for Kyle Rising and Sensi Trails. It never ends. Like I said, you're a very rare breed. How can everybody find more info on everything that's coming up with your solo project as well as Sensi Trails?
Yeah, if you check me out on Instagram, TikTok, I recently found some good success on TikTok, and Facebook. And you can email me, Spotify, all the good platforms there, Amazon, or, if you want to hear the music. You can go to my website, kylerising.com, sensitrails.com. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So I got a question. I remember when we first met, you were like, yo, put my number in your phone. This is years ago. And then I was like, what's your last name? And you were like, Rising. Tell us about that. Where did that one come from?
Man, a lot of people think that it's a stage name. A lot of people, they're like, "Oh, what's your real last name, man?" And I'm like, I it's funny, dude, because sometimes there's been times in the past where I'll I'll call my dad, like, "Hey, man, I just want to say thanks to the last name. This is like really cool, especially like with what I'm." And he's
No
like,
way. That's your
"What are
real
you
that's
talking
really your
about?"
last name?
Huh?
Is that really your last name?
It's really my last name, yeah.
Kyle, I did not know that. No way.
Oh yeah. On my birth certificate, that's my last name. Yes.
Well, okay. That is a
Wait, so
banging
you didn't know
last name.
that?
You know what, Kyle? I did not know that. I'm like, yeah, I did not know that. How many years have we known each other? That's so crazy because you said it. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but that blew me away. Like you said it, and I was like, okay, what do you want me to put in the phone? Kyle Rising. Oh, okay. All right. Stage name. He's already got it going. That's his actual
Yeah,
last
well,
name.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people assume that with what I do, it's like yeah, a stage name or whatever. And sometimes it feels kind of like unauthentic or something, because people are kind of like, "Oh, wow, you think you're so special with your cool stage name." I'm like, it's just my name, like But
That is so cool.
yeah, yeah, man, I really like having that name. I think it's cool.
Wicked. Hey guys, if you're just tuning in, you're really, really late. We got Kyle Rising. Hey, that's actually his last name. It's official. I didn't even know it. How long have we known each other? For like 7, 8 years or something like
So
that.
I was trying to think back to when I met you, and I think it was at that spot in Asheville, because I remember that
Salvage
green room was like,
Station.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly, yeah. They had the green room on that sort of like RV, and I think if I'm not mistaken, that's where we met.
And that is where I met the elevators too.
Oh, you met them that same day?
Yeah,
No
that's
shit.
that show. Yeah, yeah. How
What a
crazy,
special
man.
time that was.
A small world. So,
Yeah,
man, we're so stoked to talk to you. It's so good to catch up with you. Sensitrails.com, kylerising.com. Is that correct?
that's right.
Yeah, so pretty simple there, man. We're in Kyle's spaceship right now, and we're talking anything and everything Sensi Trails and Kyle Rising. Unfortunately, the rest of the band has had to part ways. And like we were talking about, this business is tough, but we are moving forward, and we're sending love that direction and sending love in the
Absolutely.
direction of the new chapter. And man, I got a question for you. You know, I want to go a little deeper here. What's the best advice that anybody has ever given you?
Just don't stop. I mean, really, that's the best. Like, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fall. There's gonna be times, and as long as you just get back up and keep going, you're gonna find some success somewhere along the line. But if you stop, then of course there's nothing more to come. So, yeah, just keep going. That's it, really. I mean, yeah, that's like the simplest, best advice I think that anyone could receive or give.
And where does that come from? Where does that drive and that come from in your life?
Well, I think so. My dad's a really hard worker, and I always saw that with him. And, he kind of tried to teach us growing up, my brother and I, you got to work for everything you have. Like, I was never given any handouts or anything like that. Like, we always had to work for everything. And so I just kind of carried that into my adult life and feel, and I don't have any other plan B. People would always say when I was younger and I was like, I want to be a musician, they're like, okay, well, you need a plan B. And I'm like, well, I don't want to have a plan B, because then I'm kind of setting myself up for failure of like plan A is not going to work.
Mhm.
So this is all I have, man. This is all I know. Like, I'm not really good at working any other jobs. I didn't want to do a 9 to 5, so I work 24/7 for myself. uh,
Yeah.
and like any other job I've ever had, I've pretty much like either been fired or just decided I didn't want to do it anymore. So yeah, I mean, this is just full pedal to the floor all the time with it pretty much.
Yeah, I was just talking with Blue, my partner and producer outside right before the interview. And I was like, this is so, so important, because this is Kyle's this is Kyle. This is his life. This is everything. Sensi Trails, Kyle Rising, this is it. There is no plan B. I like how you put that, man. Hey, it's been such a blast catching up with you. Always got your back, brother. Family for life. You know that. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for Sensi Trails and you. I bet it's going to be really bright. And I got one more question. I don't think we've actually done an official interview before everybody gets it. Again, it's been a pleasure. Remember, keep doing what you're doing. There is no plan B. Remember that, because you are a rare breed. You will figure it out. What does reggae mean to you?
Wow. Reggae means to me like a good feeling. Music is all about emotion and the emotional connection that we have with ourselves and the listeners. And so reggae for me is just one of many emotions, but it's a positive emotion. For me personally, it's like an uplifting feeling. And it's something that I fell in love with when I first heard it. There was a band called Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad that came through the town
Boom.
in West Virginia. I mean, I was 12 years old, man, and they played at this small coffee shop in town, and my mom wouldn't let me go because she was like, I don't want you hanging around those hippies. and but my buddy, one of my best friends, got to go, and he brought me back one of their CDs, and he was like, you got to check this sound out, and this was before I heard like Bob Marley, Sublime, or any of the other stuff. And I would listen to that Giant Panda CD in the car with my mom on the way to soccer practice and all this. Like, that's where I fell in love with reggae, man. And then from
Dude.
there, it got into like the SoCal scene and all that. But there you go.
Dude,
Yeah.
Panda, man, the panda.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, it's been such a blast. I love you, brother. Please keep doing what you're doing. You will always do it right, and you will always get there. And there's many chapters in life, and there's never a plan B. We'll see you next time, okay?
All right, man. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Come out in the rain when you're strange. No one remembers your name when you're strange. When you're strange. When you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem